MLB The Show 23 and its tech test are almost wrapping up, and I want to hear what you guys have to think about it. There's a few things I liked, there's a few things that I sort of liked that I hope that they improve. There's just some things that I don't like, and there's some things I'd like to see that maybe they forgot to add in. We're going to go over all of those in this video. So let's start off with the things that I liked. I mean, the new hitting engine. There's going to be more swings and misses, and in my opinion, that probably means there's going to be a higher skill gap. What I've noticed is the placement of your PCI and your swing timing seem to have a bigger effect on whether or not you are going to make solid contact on the ball. Now, the hitting engine being revamped is obviously, since this is a work in progress, going to continue to kind of change, but I can tell that they're really taking a lot of feedback from the 22 and 21 hitting system and what we didn't like about it, and trying to remove all those things and add some more nuances that maybe we haven't seen before. Other things that I did like about it, the graphics and the gameplay, everything is smooth. Everything runs very well on any system you play on. I feel like the game itself has a great engine. So if they can just fine tune those things that are outside of the game, the graphics and the gameplay are wonderful. That's a very easy thing to say that I like. The universal DH and the two-way functionality, I love that. Being able to use a DH instead of a pitcher in your lineup is going to allow you to strategize a little bit more. But then also, that means that the game is more like the real-life product that they're putting out on the field that you would watch on TV. So that realism is nice to see, and the rules being consistent is also very nice. And ranked co-op, that's another thing that I absolutely love that they added. Last year when they added co-op, it worked pretty well. I mean, the functionality of the game kind of, varied depending on your connection and what systems you were playing on, but I think they're trying to fine-tune that this year, and I really like the system that they're doing right now. And, having game chat for you and your teammate that you might randomly run into, that is awesome too. I love that aspect. I think that's going to be something I'm going to be doing a lot more of. So let's get to the things I sort of liked that I hope that they improve. The perfect hit sounds. They sound terrible. The bat sounds altogether don't sound that great. This is a work in progress, so I know that that's something that they're going to improve. They don't even have to really do that much work. They can just revert their sounds back to 22 or something similar to that and really rework that, because the sounds are already good in 22. You don't need to change anything. I didn't think that would be something I'd have to bring up. The UI is very bland, and it's not fun to look at. The menus are just jumbled, and they look plain. They're a little too spread out. It's not very appealing to the eye. I do like where they're kind of going with it, but I hope that they improve on that, because it doesn't look that appealing. It's not very intuitive. It doesn't feel, fluid, and it needs some reworking, in my opinion. This is just, again, these are all things that I think were the first things that came to mind when I was thinking about the things I didn't like or sort of didn't like. And things I sort of like, another thing I sort of liked was the contact/clutch with runners in scoring position. So that's a new feature. When runners are in scoring position, the clutch of your batter is going to matter, and so is the pitcher's clutch. So that's going to kind of combat how your PCI is going to look when runners are in scoring position versus when they're not. Your contact and your power are going to take over. So that is a new feature that they're testing out. So I'm hoping that nuance is going to also play a little bit deeper into the game itself. So another thing I sort of like that they hope that they improve is also ranked co-op. As much as I love that they added it, there's still a lot of bugs, and there's a lot of freezes, and there's a lot of other things that they're trying to do to prevent you from leaving games. And when the game freezes and stuff like that in co-op games, especially ranked, and you're going to lose your actual ranking because you got into a freeze-off, that's disappointing to me. So I hope that they really improve the connections and your connectivity with other people so that the game itself runs smoothly, so we can play some ranked co-op and have some fun. All right, so now to the things that I don't like. This is not fun for me to say, but SDS, I know you're going to need to, think about this, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of feedback about it, but the throwing mechanics. I get where they're going with this. I like that they're trying to make it more challenging, and that skill gap is going to be widened, or narrowed, sorry. It's going to, the good players are going to definitely set themselves apart from the not so skilled players, because if you focus on defense, it's going to help win you games. If this is going to be the throwing mechanics that they go forward with. If they do some tweaking, it might be easier to field, but there does need to be some consistency on plays that are either deep in the hole or on the run, especially when your player does that jump throw, like the Derek Jeter throw. I'm finding a lot of inconsistencies on where that window is, and I guess that does depend on the player that is fielding it as well. So it does create a little bit more. You do have to focus more, and that kind of goes into another thing I don't like is the speed of the game. The speed of the game feels different. It's slower. I think they're meaning to do that with the throwing meter to kind of give you more time to react to it, but at the same time, with the game being slower, it just feels clunkier. Like that, if you reduce the amount of inconsistencies with those windows and increase the speed, you're going to have that. I think that's still that balance that they're looking for, where they create some, they create some difficulty with fielding, but then also, make it so it's not so easy. Whereas in the past, you could just kind of really take your mind off of it and play decent defense. So, and the things I don't like, and I mentioned this earlier, but the freeze offs, they count against you, and then there's like a suspension timer afterwards. You can't just go directly into another game right after. It's punishing you for getting into a freeze off on the game itself when you didn't do anything to have that happen. So that is something that I think they need to work on, and I hope that they do. And some things that I would like to see, some things that they didn't really go into, but they just kind of glossed over, and they're not going to showcase in the tech test. But I really hope that the better co-op performance and connectivity goes through. But then the overhaul of Road to the Show and Franchise. Those are two modes that I think a lot of people are looking for more out of. They're looking for some content. They're looking for something. There needs to be a revamping of both of those things so that they can be used and utilized effectively, so people can make content on it and actually have some fun with the game beyond Diamond Dynasty and ranked co-op, which a lot of people are going to get probably tired of right away if there's not a lot of good connections, if there's a lot of freeze offs and all those things. So when people look for other parts of the game to have fun when your game isn't working properly, this is where you need to overhaul the other parts of the game so that they can still stick with the game despite not having, maybe a good connection at the time or something. Who knows? Another thing that I would like to see them do is get rid of March to October. I don't understand the purpose of it. It is like a watered down franchise that you really don't get to have that much control over. It's just not something that should be still in the game. They can find another mode that potentially could reap more benefits, keep people on the game. But again, if they just upgrade Franchise and Road to the Show, they're not going to need March to October altogether. So to me, it's something that they should just get rid of and find another game mode to either replace it or really overhaul Franchise and Road to the Show, so that they don't water down, they don't muddy the waters in this game. I would like to hear what you guys think. This game hopefully is going to be one of the best, because MLB The Show 21 and 22 have been a lot of fun to play, and 22 is really the only one I've been making a whole lot of content on. And now that the stadiums are not going to transfer to the new game, it looks like I got some stadiums to build. So Kev Brado, you better be ready. Kev Brado's Bay Part 2 is coming through, and I hope to hear more from you guys on the content coming up here in the game. So let me know what you guys think. The tech test has been fun. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.